more than happy to hear the congressman say they're all going to El Salvador. I think for Republicans, this just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving illegal aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that Democrats feel comes on all these issues that are fundamentally not where the American people are.
Scott Jennings is 1,000% correct with that statement. But, of course, Democrats are doubling down. We got to talk about Democrats today because this whole situation with El Salvador, it's just like absolutely ridiculous at this point. We literally have sitting Democrats who are traveling to El Salvador to try to free an El Salvadorian citizen from El Salvador's prison because, I don't know, I guess to put on a show, I guess, for their constituents. I don't know, but check this out.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Abrego Garcia home until he returns to his family. I hope to meet with representatives of the government. I hope to have the chance to actually see Kilmar and see what his condition is. But we are going to keep fighting because this is a miscarriage of justice. The Supreme Court has ruled 9-0, that he was illegally taken out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. And this is about due process. This is about rule of law. What bullies do is they begin by picking on the most vulnerable. But if we get rid of the rule of law and due process in the United States, it's a short road from there to tyranny.
Quite interesting you brought that up, even though AOC was advocating for Joe Biden to ignore the Supreme Court, which he basically did by still giving out or still giving or relieving people's student debt loans. Even though the Supreme Court said he couldn't do it, he still did it anyway. But we'll save that conversation for another day. It's quite interesting that he's doing all of this because I don't recall Democrats fighting for Jocelyn Nungaray. You know, the little girl who was, I don't even want to say it, the R word and put in a pine box and just left. Did Democrats fight for that? As a matter of fact, they had the opportunity to stand and acknowledge her mother. Did they do that? No. What about the other young lady? I can't recall her name at this point, but I'm sure you guys are typing it up right now. Did they stand and acknowledge her? Because she was put in the pine box as well. I believe she was just 19 years old. Did they acknowledge her? No, not at all. But now all of a sudden they're up in arms for some illegal citizen who, you know what? Actually, I'm going to play this other clip for y'all because what this guy does to this anchor is just absolutely amazing. So if you guys don't know who this gentleman is, his name is Harrison Fields. He's basically Caroline Leavitt's backup. So if Caroline Leavitt ever needed a break for whatever reason, went on vacation or something, this is the guy that would take her place. And let me tell you something. Hey, Caroline, feel free to take a break for a week because Harrison Fields, this brother's cooking.
The reality is this wasn't a Maryland father. This was a El Salvadorian man who was illegally in this country, who was affiliated with MS-13.
There is no evidence
Let's set the record straight about who this person is.
There is no evidence that he was a gang member.
With all due respect, if you
I love how the narrative is there's no evidence. There's no evidence. And sure, we don't have the actual evidence that they presented in court that he was an MS-13 gang member, but the court, whatever evidence was presented, the court agreed that he was an MS-13 gang member. See, what these Democrats try to do is they play with words. She said there's no evidence, and she completely ignores the fact that the judge, as a matter of fact, I believe there was 2 different judges that agreed that this guy was an MS-13 gang member based on the evidence that was presented in court. So yes, we don't have the actual evidence that was presented in court. So technically she's right, but and I said this before, Democrats lie by omission. They lie by omission. Like, they'll tell you part of the truth, but they'll leave out the other part that completely negates what they just said, right? In this situation is perfect, because when she comes out and she says, well, there's no evidence, that makes it sound and seem as if, oh, he most definitely wasn't an MS-13 gang member. But she leaves out the fact that the judge ruled that he was. So how did the judge come to that conclusion? Obviously, there was some kind of evidence presented in the case, but that's what they do. They lie by omission. Pay attention to that whenever you hear these Democrats speak, man, because I've noticed that. They always lie by omission. They'll tell part of the truth and leave the rest of it out. So it'll flip the entire story around. But anyway, let's continue.
The Department of Justice has come out and said that he has gang affiliations, just like the same man who killed Rachel Morin had gang affiliations. So you would have told me before Rachel Morin's death, you would have defended that man and said he had no gang affiliations, and he went on to kill Rachel Morin. So instead of defending this gentleman, talk about who he actually is, and talk about the risk in keeping illegal criminals in this country. This is exactly what President Trump was elected to do, to return these people back to their home countries, and that's what he did.
We're not defending him. I'm going to reiterate that is unsubstantiated. There is no evidence of him being a gang member. He is married to a U.S. citizen, and he was in this country legally. Okay, but we don't know if he was
Being
actually...
married does not make you not a gang member.
There's no evidence. We're going to move on. There's no evidence that he was a gang member, and I want to reiterate that to our viewers.
The Department of Justice came out and said there was credible evidence that he was a member or affiliated with MS-13.
You said he's a gang member, and he wasn't legally allowed to be here, which, again, he was legally allowed to be here. And he is married to an American citizen.
You can hold court for him all you want. He's no longer in this country.
All right.
The Americans are safer because of it.
And to go back to the original question, so right now the White House seems to be doing nothing about getting him back, and that's fine. I'm going to move on.
He's an illegal immigrant.
Okay.
He was here illegally with deportation orders in 2019. What part of that do you not understand?
I understand the story very well, and I'm going to stop going back and forth with you on this, but I will say, again, he had every right to be in this country. Is there any scenario under which
He was an illegal immigrant.
We're going to move on.
How does he have legal standing in this country when he had deportation orders?
No, I will not let you go forward.
Okay.
He was an illegal alien in this country with a deportation order in 2019. He is an El Salvadorian citizen. If you are not a citizen of the United States of America here illegally, there are grounds to deport you, in which happened recently.
Again, unsubstantiated. Those are not the facts, but I will move on.
How are the... That is just absolutely laughable. The guy legitimately had deportation orders. Okay. So if you had deportation orders, how does that make you legally able to stay in the United States? You had deportation orders. And apparently, according to her, those aren't the facts. Man, oh man, we don't hate mainstream media enough, man. I'm telling you, we really don't. Okay, so one of the things that Trump's DOJ recently did was they started to release some of the paperwork in regards to this case. And I want to show this here. Where was it? The court first reasoned that the respondent failed to meet his burden of demonstrating that his release from custody would not pose a danger to others, as the evidence shows that he is a verified MS-13, is a verified member of MS-13. It's right there in the court paperwork. But according to that young lady there on, what was that, News Nation? On News Nation, that's fake news. That's not the facts. Even though it's straight from the court. Oh man, you can't make this stuff up, man. You really can't. You really can't. But ultimately, I think all of this is going to really backfire on the Democrat Party. And I'll play one clip of this lady here. And I played a clip of her before because this young lady recently left the Democrat Party. And in this clip, she basically reiterates that and that she's happy that she left the Democrat Party. But then she goes into a little bit of why I think this is really going to backfire on the Democrat Party. Check it out.
Okay, guys, if I didn't need another reason why I have officially left the Democratic Party, it's all the going on right now with this trip to El Salvador. I saw all these prisoners, evil, evil prisoners, be put on a plane and taken to El Salvador. And that's what people wanted, right? They wanted proof. They wanted to see proof that Donald Trump was doing what he said he was going to do, which is to take all the bad people out of our country and ship them off. And even that's not good enough. I woke up today, I see all these videos, all these liberals saying, oh, you know, they're making a mockery out of this and they're shaving their heads and it's cruel and unusual. And why do they have a camera crew there? And why are there drones flying around? Why are we seeing this whole thing? You know, this is a spectacle, blah, blah, blah. When you voted for Donald Trump, you wanted to see action and proof. And now that I'm not a part of the crazy lunatic Democratic Party, I'm actually glad that I'm seeing proof. I don't want these friggin' crazy people to be walking amongst us. He's not shipping off people that stole a loaf of bread at the local store or a mother that stole diapers. These are the worst of the worst. These are human traffickers. These are child abusers. People that are selling fentanyl in large amounts in the United States and have killed our brothers, our sisters, our aunts, uncles, our friends, our family. What do you guys want? What do you want? You all are insane. You're insane. And I don't even care that I'm coming onto social media to say it. You're the same people, the people that are so upset about this El Salvador spectacle, as you call it. You're the same friggin' people who don't like Caroline Levitt. You're the same people that don't want any accountability in our federal government. You don't want them to look and see where all our money is going. You're all crazy. I'm glad that I'm out.
Yeah. So, and I feel like every sane person in this country basically feels that same way. The Democrat Party is full of lunatics. You'd have to be crazy to say, hey, let's bring an MS-13 gang member, according to the courts, back to this country. Even though the country where he got deported to, that's where he's originally from. He's a citizen. We deported him back to his country of origin, but no, bring him back, even though he's an MS-13 gang member. Just bring him back. Like, you got to be a lunatic to say that. And as she said, those same people that are saying that are some of the same ones that are saying, oh no, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go because he's looking into how our government has been wasting and possibly laundering our money. The same folks. You've got to be batshit crazy to say something like that. And that is why I said this isn't going to play out well for the Democrat Party. But right now, they don't have a choice. This is the monster they made. This is the bed that they made, so they must lie in it. They created this far left lunacy. They created this every time something happens, they have to put on a show and create a spectacle of it. This is their own doing, and that's what their constituents are expecting of them, so they have to keep doing it. They can't turn back now. Eventually, they're going to have to because they're not going to win anything. And they'll realize that after 28, they'll lose in the midterms and they'll make all types of excuses. Oh my goodness, Trump rigged this, Trump rigged that, Trump did this, Trump did that, he didn't make it fair, blah, blah, blah. Come 2028, when they lose again, then they'll start taking a look at themselves and saying basically what James Carville said in yesterday's video, that the Democrat Party is going to have to split. But hey, I'm just the guy that speaks on the internet from time to time. Don't mind me. What do y'all think? Let me know. Thanks for tuning in as always. Peace and love. I'm out.